Hello and welcome to this week's Gems of War Guild Event Planner. I am Guardian Namek, Guild Leader of Loot and Plunder. This week's focus is the Doom Tower event, where we have to use purple troops, which is quite the wide net. This is the team I plan on using, or at least starting with. The Onyx Giant is going to be the main source of damage. A lot of skull busting damage and just some generally good damage as well. Unfortunately, as it's just purple, I can't use the Queen to boost his damage up even further. As for the mana, I'm utilizing both Karnex and the Archdiva. Partly the reason I'm using the Archdiva is because of the fact that gives 60 attack, which will greatly increase the amount of damage that the Onyx Giant does with skull busting. Also, Barrier and Bless, once I get those traits, would be very useful. And because there's going to be a lot of 4-ways. And Karnex is just there for a good amount of mana generation. You're like, hello, I explode those Uber Doom skulls you make. Now, some other options, at least some of the ones that I have looked at so far. The Revenant from Qatar, if you want to focus on units from Qatar, since that will be the weekly kingdom. They do some decent damage, just normal amount of damage, not too great, but the Death Mark is always a solid option, as long as they aren't immune to Death Mark, either from Undying, Bless, or some other form of Death Mark immunity. That'll be useful mostly later on. As for the mana, if you're looking still just within Kingdom of Qatar, the Wall of Bones is a good option because it is an effective tank, and it also gives other allies attack and mana. And the main thing is the mana. You can theoretically have 3 of these walls where they just pretty much keep charging each other up, and then you eventually charge up whoever you want to be your main damage. However, I don't suggest doing that this time around, as for the bonus points you'll want to use the Doomed Edge, and it's not really good on damage, so you'd rely on that for damage and it would be very slow, because it's already fairly slow to do 3 walls and probably 3 casts of them to then do 1 cast of damage. Back with a look at the Raksha, we can finally use our purple pals, namely Cunning, as they do some good amount of damage, especially if the enemy is using purple. And also, if you have a more Raksha focused team, any 4-ways will give you a lot of power. You can also use the Shadow Hunter, as they do an enormous amount of damage at first because of the boosted by all enemy life on that hit. So she is also very effective for those higher level missions, as enemies will have a lot of health. Some other good options for damage that are just generically purple are the Dragon Soul and Vinoxia. The Dragon Soul, as long as it's with a team of dragons, will do about 20 AoE damage, and the main thing is really for the mana. He gets to explode a good amount of gems, and then usually get to do it again. They are very effective at just blowing the board, doing some damage, blowing up the board, doing some damage. On a very similar vein, Vinoxia creates a bunch of green and blue gems, usually can charge themselves back up, and deal some AoE true damage. So they both are very effective self-charging or group charging with a lot of damage. Another good option when it comes to mana is a unit from last week, Surzunu Bog, as they put a bunch of brown on the field before exploding the board, which then usually can charge themselves back up, and hopefully your other allies as well, which makes it a very effective mana generator, as it will always be charged. So even if your other characters don't instantly get charged from 1 cast, you can do it again. And with the Stone Skin trait, he is a fairly effective tank, which is really nice when combined. Which is really nice, as having your mana generator up front means they get all the mana up front, and then they can make sure everyone else gets their mana. I hope this info was helpful for both starting and veteran players of Gems of War. If it was helpful to you, give that subscribe button a click, as I plan on doing these every Monday, both to help my guild and for fun. Until next week, have fun plundering.